All right guys, Instructor Z here with Tactical Rifleman, and today we're going to be talking about a cold start drill. What the hell is it? It's an internet phenomenon as far as the gun industry goes. Everybody's putting out these printable cold start drills that have certain components of drawing and firing your everyday carry weapon to see where you stand and having some kind of standards that go along with it. I think it's great. It's a good idea. There are different things that you can do with a cold start drill, and there's definitely different components or fundamentals that you're trying to work on. Here's my take on it and some considerations for you with the cold start drill. All right, so what does cold mean first off? Cold means that I'm not really warmed up. I haven't done a whole lot of dry firing, and you can do some dry firing. Every time you put on what you're gonna wear for the day and have your everyday carry on you, you should probably test out that clothing and how you're going to get to your weapon and how you're going to handle business in case you have to. Winter is definitely a big deal because you wear more layers of clothing and it's harder to get to your weapon sometimes. So we want to get a few dry runs with our everyday carry, but a cold start is something that you do on the range before you shoot anything. You can do your dry fires, you can set up all your equipment, but have something that pertains to a likely scenario or a self-defense situation that you could start off shooting your first bullets of the day on that drill or that run. Okay, so here's some components I like to include. Drawing and shooting, obviously, from wherever you carry your gun. A string of fire, 3 rounds or more. A magazine change from somewhere, wherever you carry your mag, or even if you're not doing it for time, from where your fanny pack, your butt crack, wherever you carry the magazine, do it a emergency reload from there, and then put 2 more in a more accurate shot, like a smaller target area. So as you can see on our target, I'm using the VTAC man target today, and we're going to use that high A square area on his chest, and we're going to use the high portion of the eye sockets, basically the size of a 3x5 card up in the eye socket area for my last 2 shots. And the way it's going to go is I'm going to draw, I'm going to fire 3 rounds as fast as I can, and I'm going to go to slide lock reload. I'm going to reload out of my pocket in my little Neo magnet magazine holder from my Glock, and I'm going to put 2 more rounds more accurately, try to hit those eye socket area or that T-box zone of the head. Okay, so what I've got there is a quick fire to stop somebody in center mass, right? I've got some manipulation of the gun and grabbing and finding this damn magazine in my pocket, which is still hard to do even though it's a good little holder here, that Neo mag. And then I got to reload, let that slide go forward, see again my sights and line them up to the head box, a smaller area, and engage accurately again. And then what I like to add on to if I'm doing a cold start drill for everyday carry, a self-defense situation, is these are the times I'll be a little dramatic and look around and go through in my head what I would do in a real life self-defense situation. What's going on around me? Do I need to move forward and assault towards the threat to make sure he doesn't have a gun on him or any way to hurt me anymore? Put my gun away potentially, or reload it first, make sure I got a full mag, and then put my gun away so some of the other good guys don't think I'm the bad guy on the scene. Things of that nature that I take into account after a self-defense shooting situation, right? So let's check it out. I'm gonna get my ear pro, got my glasses on. One thing we always do, and I've hit this in other videos, I'm gonna load my weapon administratively in a good way. I'm gonna check my 3 points, my chamber, my magazine well, my bolt face, insert my source of feed, make sure it's seated, let it go forward. While I got time, I'll go ahead and check, make sure I got brass in there. And we're gonna go off my little timer here, see how I do, because not necessarily because I got a standard and I'm going for a time. Yeah, I can have a standard, but I want some kind of indicator to tell me when to go that's not based off of when I know I'm going. And then also it's a little bit of stress. You get under the timer, a little buzzer time, under the watchful eyes of this beautiful camera crew. I'm a little stressed out, so let's see how I do. Got this thing on random start, ready to go. All right, so there we have it. Let me check around, make sure nothing's going on around me. If I have to move forward, I'll move forward, take this weapon away, gas this thing up if I have more bullets to put in there, put it away, see what I need to do next, maybe call 911, maybe calm down the people around me, maybe give first aid to this guy. Now, if you can look at the target, this is what happens when you're cold. All right, you don't know what's gonna happen. You haven't shot any bullets all day. I don't know what I'm gonna do in a situation. Somebody finds me in a situation and they start fighting me. I don't know what I'm going to do sometimes. So I pull that gun, no warming up. I haven't shot one bullet out of this pistol all day, and I hit low. I don't know if that was the first one, second one, or what. Once I reloaded that I fumbled with out of my pocket, because it is kind of tough, then I took 2 more accurate shots to the head. And what I like to do is I like to do this twice. I like to make sure I get a good run. It's just like when I used to play basketball, I didn't leave the court on a miss, right? I left the court on a hit, and we're gonna hit this thing one more time. So let's check it out. Good to go, good to go. All right, guys, going hot again. Got everybody. I need any more bullets. Maybe if this was a full mag, I'd switch it out, load that thing up, put it away. Make sure this guy, what do you got here? All right, good to go. So that time, you can see, guys, that was my miss from the first time. So I got the 3 in there quick that time, got 2 in the head accurately. Had my reload, even though it is kind of hard with these big fat fingers going in my little pocket, but we did it. We did it in 6:41, a little bit faster. I don't know what anybody else's standard is out there, but being cold, you're gonna go slower. You're gonna fuck some things up. We need to practice flipping that switch when we get on the range, right? For the first time, because in a real situation, there's no warming up, man. There's no warming up, even in combat. We didn't warm up and shoot on the range before we went on missions. All right, I was in a specialized special forces company that did a lot of CQB, a lot of direct action. And every time we went to the range on a flat range such as this, no context, just working on fundamentals, we had a certain standard of CTEs, combat task evaluations. And we would grade ourselves on those, and we'd keep a record of all those scores. And you had, first off, 1 miss, you fail that drill. There is no misses, right? You had to hit the standard every time. And then you also had to make the time standard for whatever that was. We had El Perez's, we had transitions, we had rifle now drills, pistol now drills, all these different things that have been covered on the Tactical Rifleman channel before. But here's the thing, none of those scores counted unless we did them cold, first thing in the morning or first thing in the afternoon. Whenever we showed up at the range, there was no firing until you got tested, and that was the only scores that count. You could practice those later on your own time, but for the scores to count, it's cold every time, because we practice flipping that switch, being on the spot in front of your buddies, screwing up, seeing where your vulnerabilities, where your shortcomings are, addressing those damn things. But the biggest thing is that mindset, I'm ready to go when the time comes and I'm ready to fight. That's it. You have to build that in. It doesn't just happen, right? It's conditioned, it's conditioned. So cold drills, again, that's what we got. You see what I did? I left it all out there. And anybody in YouTube world that thinks I've warmed up with live rounds before I did this, bullshit. Ask my camera guys, or Yeasty George out there. He'll probably comment and tell him how nice I look. So Yeasty George, I'm telling you, it's a cold start. So this is what we got for cold start drill on the flat range. Take it into consideration. You can draw up your own. Give yourself some standards. Doesn't have to be too crazy, just a few components. Only make it as hard as what your capabilities are at that point in time, what your level is. And then you can add to it later on as you get more proficient in other things, more competent and more prepared on the range flipping that switch. So, Instructor Z out on that one. Make sure you hit the bell for notifications, subscribe to the Tactical Rifleman channel. We're still gonna keep bringing you shit that makes sense and works for the everyday guy. I'm making capable citizens out of you guys. So we'll see you next time.
If you like this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, make sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter so you don't miss out on anything. If you like the shirt that we're wearing in the video, you can get it in our store.